Hi friends and welcome to Machine Learning for Beginners in .NET series, and today we are going to cover the following topics. What is machine learning? The pipeline. Why .NET and not Python or R programming languages? Then we are going to go with a practical example and explain simple linear regression. Then we will go and build the model, the AI model with the model builder in .NET, and then we're going to do some extra coding and manual implementation and see what's next in this awesome series. If you are ready, let's start. So what is machine learning? Let's make things simple. Machine learning is simply training your computer, teaching your computer to do something based on a set of data that you collected. Let's give some examples. If you open your mobile phone now and you open the camera and you wanna take a picture for your brother, your friend, anyone with a face, you will see that the camera automatically will draw a square around all the faces in the picture. How the camera or the mobile knew that this is a face and this is a hand and this is a mountain and this is a flower and so on. This is called object detection. So we told the computer that this is a face, this is a microphone, this is a mobile. How? By giving it a large set of images, data, pictures, and telling it, hey, this is a pen, this is a watch. We tell the computer that this image represents a watch, this image represents a mobile, and so on. When he learns all this, then he can match and understand and detect similar objects in different images. This is one. Other example is predicting values in the future or predicting values that you don't know. Example, weather forecast. So now today we can tell that tomorrow it will be raining, that tomorrow or next week the temperature will be 24 or minus 40 and so on. This is all based on analyzing data and building models that can predict using the power of machine learning. We have a lot of examples. If you are shopping now on Amazon, you will see the system will automatically recommend some products based on your interest. How Amazon knew your interest based on the data they collected about you. The same for Google, for Facebook. So you collect data, based on the data, you build an AI model with machine learning that can do and achieve a certain task. I hope you get the idea. Now let's cover the machine learning pipeline. What do I mean by pipeline here? It's simply the steps that we follow to build an AI model at the end. So step number one is to collect data, is to have data. So we have the data. Step number two in the pipeline is to analyze or process this data. What do I mean here? Simply, if we have some missing value, we have some wrong values, we do some data pre-processing or processing or analysis or fixing, call it whatever you want, to prepare the data for training. Example, if we have a missing value in the set, maybe we can calculate the mean value and put it instead of this missing value, and so on. Step number three is to pick an algorithm that fits your scenario and to train the computer based on the data and this algorithm. So then we will have an AI model. We didn't finish yet. Then you have to evaluate the model, test it, and fine-tune it. Maybe retrain it with more data and so on to get the best results you can. This is simply the machine learning pipeline. Let's stop now talking about theoretical concepts and go somehow practically and talk about our example in our lecture today, in this scenario. What we are going to do, how to apply this pipeline in our example. So what do we have today? We have a set of data, as you can see, a table that contains two columns. The first column is the years of experience of an employee in a company, like 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, and so on. And for each year, we have the salary of this employee. So what we are going to do in our model today is to build an application or an AI model that can predict the salary of any employee based on the years of experience and based on this data that we have. I hope you understood what's the pipeline and what we are going to do in this lecture. But before I move on, I want to answer this simple question: why I chose .NET for this series, programming with C# or .NET, and not other powerful programming languages like Python or R. Simply, I have three reasons. Number one, let's say you have a company now and you have applications built with .NET and your team are all .NET programmers with .NET stack. So if you want to build a machine learning model for your applications, you will need to invest in teaching them Python and invest in this time, or hiring someone else, and you need to implement these Python models in your .NET applications. So why not implement directly a .NET model in a .NET application? I feel it's better. The second reason is some of you and me, like .NET programmers, sometimes want to integrate some machine learning models fast in their applications. And .NET will allow you to do this and save you a lot of time, as you will see in a little bit, even if you are a beginner in machine learning. And the third reason is that if you now go to the internet and search for machine learning, you will see big communities for Python and machine learning. But you will not see this in .NET. So why not to build this community together and see the power of .NET with machine learning? And reason number 4, my personal reason, is I love .NET. So that's enough. Let's now move on and go back to our topic, our main topics, and see what is simple linear regression and how it works. So what is simple linear regression? Without talking too much, let's show the regression. So let's draw the x-axis that represents the years of experience and the y-axis that represents the annual salary of an employee. Now we have a data set, as we mentioned before. This data set will be plotted on this chart. Now the role of simple linear regression is to draw the line that fits best in this data. In this way, you can see we draw a line that can get the best based on the data that we have. So in this way, we can now know and predict salaries based on years of experience. And by the way, the equation of this line, let's go back to maybe high school, is y is equal to b0 plus b1x. In our case, in our application, y is the salary, is the annual salary, and x is the years of experience. So we have a relation. When x changes, when the years of experience changes, the salary will change. What is b0 in our case? It's simply the intersection between the line and the axis. So in this way, when x is equal to 0, years of experience in our case is equal to 0, y will be equal to b0, which will be the intersection in our case between the line and the y-axis. And b1 is simply the slope of the line. So in this way, we can know that when we increase the years of experience, the salary will automatically also increase. So we have a relation between x and y, which is b1, the slope of the line. Let's now pick a point on this graph. Let's say this one. Let's zoom in and you will see now that we have our data that shows the point above the line and our model predicted value, which is on the line. So if you want to compare the model prediction with the data you have, you can simply zoom on one of these points and compare them. You have the data that you have and the predicted value, and you can then validate or check the accuracy, or is it correct or not, and so on. Now you may be wondering why we call it simple linear regression. It's simply because we have only one dependent value. We have the years of experience. So when this changes, we are predicting the salary. So again, to repeat, we are predicting a value, which is the salary in our case, based on only one feature, or what we call one dependent value, which is the years of experience. If we have multiple features or multiple dependent values, we will have something called multiple linear regression. We'll talk about it later in other lectures. So don't forget the notifications to get every new update. So this is simple linear regression. I hope you got the point. Don't forget, anytime you have questions, you need to open a discussion to discuss together, you can go to my forums on the website, and I'll be there with you almost every day to discuss together, learn from each other, and help each other. Let's now move on and go and build the AI model in seconds with the power of ML.NET Model Builder. Let's go. Okay friends, so open Visual Studio. In my case, I have version 2022. In case you don't have the ML.NET installed, just open the Visual Studio installer, go to modify, and in the individual components, make sure to install ML.NET Model Builder. So I will open Visual Studio and create a simple new project. create a new project. I will pick .NET Core console application, click on next, and simply say ml.net1 anything. Select the folder and click on next, create. And here we are, we have this simple console application. Let's say here hello ml.net. To build a model, an AI model or a machine learning model, simply right click on your solution here and go to add, then machine learning model. I will call it SLR, which means simple linear regression. Whatever you want, click on add, and then simply it will show you this wizard. What's nice with this builder, you can do this without coding. We are going to build this only using the interface. In our case, we are going to predict a value, the salary based on years. You can see here we have predict a numeric value from your data, regression. We are here talking about simple linear regression, so this is the value prediction model. Click on next step, then select your data file. Don't forget to get the data from the description below if you want to follow up with us. I will go here and select the data. This is the CSV file containing our data. Here we have the year's experience and the annual salary. And in this section here, make sure to select the annual salary, which is the value you want to predict, the column to predict. If you go here to advanced data options, you will see that the year's experience is automatically set to feature, which means the dependent value. Very nice. Next step, you can see now we are moving in the pipeline. So we got the data, now we need to train it. What's nice about this model builder, it will automatically go and process our data. If we have missing values or something, it will automatically fix this. Of course, you can do this manually, as I will show you in a little bit. But let's continue now. I will select like 15 seconds to train. We have a small set of data, start training. Let's see. Oops, we have a problem. In some cases, you will get this problem. It's okay. Just set another number of seconds and click on train again. And it must work now. Just play with the fields. And you can see now it's testing different regression algorithms. You can see here the outputs. Let's wait a little bit. Now it's generating the code for us. Completed. Excellent. Now click on next. Now we can evaluate our model. Let's now say we have an employee with 4 years of experience, predict, and the annual salary will be $66,000. Very nice. Let's now click on next. Now we can consume this model. You can copy this code to consume automatically, or you can add a project, a web API or a console application, a full project consuming this model. Anyway, I'll not do anything now. Click on next steps. And here we are. We finished creating our AI model. Let's test and consume it in our code. If you go here to our solution, you will see now we have slr.consumption. We have the mbconfig file, which is this wizard. Again, I will save it. And we have the slr training file. This is the training code. And we have the slr.zip. This zip file is the model file. You can get this model and use it anywhere you want. You have the model now with you, the AI model. You just need this code packaged as a zip file to use anywhere in .NET applications. So if you go here and open the training class, you will see the build pipeline method. If you go here, you will see that the first thing, it's replacing missing values. It's processing or pre-processing our data. It's doing some normalizations and so on. We'll talk about this in detail later on in data processing lectures. And then it will train using regression algorithms. It picked this SDCA algorithm and trained, and we get the values, return the pipeline. So now when we build the pipeline, we can go here to consumption and we can call the predict method to get and predict values. Let's see how to do this in our application. Let's go back here to the program to test this. If you go again to here to the mbconfig file and go to the consume section, you will see the code snippet we saw before. Just copy it and go again to program here and paste, and you will see now we can predict the value, and here is the result. So what I will do now is I will say console.writeLine, enter number of years, then simply years is equal to, var years is equal to console.readLine. That's it. And replace the value here, and let's convert to single. That's it. Now we are going to print salary plus result dot score console dot read key. That's it. Let's test it. I will run the application. Let's say now 3 years. Excellent. Salary is $58,000 and so on. So now we build the model with the model builder, and now we are predicting values. You see how easy it is if you want to implement a machine learning model in an application. Even if you are not experienced in machine learning, you can do this using the wizard and implement it directly, easily, to test things, maybe to implement a small model or something in your current .NET applications. Now, what if we got more data? Another set of data, and we want to use it to retrain the model to get more accurate values. So let's say I got this CSV file containing more data. Let's open it with Notepad. You can see these are the set of values, a CSV file. And I want to use this file to retrain my current model and generate a new model based on all the data that I have till now. If you go back here to SLR training, you will see we have this retrain pipeline method. Now I wanted to make things somehow more advanced and give you more value. So what I did is I created a project with some custom code. Let's open it and see what I did. Here is the project. Again, we have the same configuration, the same files, the training, the consumption, the model, the zip file. What I did is I created this SLR custom class to implement custom code to retrain and predict new values based on our new models. In this class here, I defined a string, the model zip path. So using this SLR custom class now, you can provide the path of the zip file you want to use to predict values. We will see how to do this in a little bit. Then there's the constructor. I will give it the file path. Then we have two functions, the predict function and the retrain model function. I wrote everything with the comments, and you can here pass the new CSV path, the new CSV data file path, then call the retrain pipeline method. If you click on control, go to this method. I'm using this retrain pipeline, which is built in the model builder. Let's go back here, and then we will save the new model, the new zip file in this folder here, new models. And then I will return the output model path so I can use it in my application. You can see here I provided the model main path, the main zip file. You can see it here as slr.zip, which is this file here, the solution. Then I use it to predict my values. Then I added this code to retrain the model. So there's a sample CSV file, the retrain data in my PC here, and this is the output path, this folder here, to save the new model, the new zipped file. Then I call the retrain model. It is that simple. And this is the end of the process. Let's do this right now to see. After we run the code, we must have now a new model. Let's run it. Now it will predict based on the main values. Let's say 2.5 years. Okay, now it's retraining. Let's close it. You can see now we have the new zipped file, the new model that we retrained with the new data. Don't worry about the codes. Everything will be free for you. Just some patience. What I did also is I implemented the simple linear regression manually without using the ML builder. You go here, we have the SLR manual class. I provide the CSV file path, everything, the build model. You can see here the pipeline, everything step by step. And this is the predict function here and the prediction engine, everything in detail in the model input. So you can use this also and tweak it, do whatever you want. It's for you. But in this way, you can learn also how to implement this manually and not just using the ML model builder. Okay, so now what's next? In my upcoming machine learning lectures, we'll be talking about multiple linear regression, polynomial regressions, about object detection, classifications, and NLP, natural language processing with .NET to understand the human language and maybe to build bots with .NET. And don't forget, we are going to cover also data pre-processing, maybe math for machine learning, a lot of things. So don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications to get every new update. And before I end this video, I need to give credits to this guy, James McIlvor. His blog helped me a lot to build these lectures and to understand more about .NET, machine learning. And the second credit is to Super Data Science team, who also helped me a lot to understand more about machine learning and AI and data science and much more. Thank you for following, and see you in the upcoming videos.